It's my Dungeon Munchie review. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe to get yourself some more of my content. Welcome Switchheads, and I do hope you're all well. And let me tell you, one of my favourite things about indie devs is that, well, they're more likely to think out of the box, do something a bit different. One might even say take a few risks. Something entirely what you get here, in the shape of reanimated by a necromancer chef called Simmer. To kind of do her bidding, but needs to escape your underground complex to freedom. Sounding good so far? Let me continue then. Along the way on your journeys, you'll basically be shown how to cook the plants and creatures that you'll be, destroying and murderizing, killing on your encounters. And upon mostly all the kills, you'll be giving a kind of chunk of said thing or creature. And this will basically grant you the ability to fry them up in a pan and, if you eat them, you'll get like these abilities, but you can only use 7 of them at once. And trust me, there are many abilities out there: more damage, faster movement, sparky things of electricity, and flame damage, and all sorts of different things. And this isn't actually mentioning also the weapons that you can craft on your way out of all the creatures and the stuff that you destroy as well. And this within itself as well isn't just limited to sharp weapons. You get blunt weapons, thrown weapons, which is done quite uniquely, shields, and even magical staffs that you can wield and cast things on things. And there's even a little magical portal at each little hub that you go to, that you can basically just go to these different sections and levels that you've already been to resupply, I guess. As you play through the game, you gain these extra pages of recipes and are basically able to make better stuffs as you go through. And as for the movement in the game, it's mainly platforming and, throwing things and killing things. And this isn't bad in general, and you have to do some precise jumping in it, and that's where it gets a little bit frustrating, as the controls seem to be a little bit on the floaty side to do any precise jumping and landing on things. Combat is fine, and making weapons from the anvil is, fun. And I like the fact that you can make short plus long range weapons as you go along. All of this most of the time is done by a little hub like area. And it's here that you get to also chat to Simmer and some of the other characters that she has reanimated. And this is where the story gets quite cool, because you get to learn about her and also about them, and a little bit more about yourself as well. And believe me, there's other creatures that you get to talk to as well within the game, which, it just tells the story, and you get to see or hear personal perspectives of different things. And yeah, I like that sort of thing in a game. As you progress, you encounter new areas with new challenges and creatures, and there's a lot, most with different powers and, those chunks to cook up and eat to empower yourself as well. There's even these boss battles kind of things that you have to do as well, with a shady looking, prickly, bad guy thing that just comes across as a bit of a dick. I have to say, the interactions with the NPCs is normally a funny experience, and I really did welcome them when they came up. There's some truly wacky characters here, and I did welcome them all into my heart. Just eat me. Okay, that actually sounds wrong out of context. Although there does seem to be a little bit of a repetitive gameplay loop here, I did feel the mechanics of the game added with the characters as well, all kind of helping the game keep feeling fresh and less like it was, turning stale. As for them looks you can see, I didn't think they were that bad. And as for those graphics you can see right there, I didn't think they were that bad, but I didn't also think they were the best I've seen on the Nintendo Switch. I did like those little cutscene bits there where you're chatting and it shows the creatures that you're chatting with. And I did think they were actually, drawn pretty darn well. But my main bugbear of the game would have to be its sound. Music felt relaxing and that was fine, and sound in general was also fine. But there was also parts where there was a noticeable lack of sound effects. At one time I was battling a boss and there was sound, but there was also a lack of sound of us battling, the actual battle itself hitting each other. And this also carried on sometimes in the actual main game where I'd be doing something, I could hear the music, I can hear like different sounds, but then if I hit something there would be nothing, and it kind of felt really off-putting because, I don't know, there just wasn't that give and take of, coherency or whatever you want to call it for, the response of what I was actually doing on screen. And I just felt like it was a bit of a shame, that's all. The good. Lovely mechanics, and I love those eating and making weapons bits. They were quite cool and kept the game fresh as well. Character storytelling felt fun and interesting, also kept me in the actual game and kept it fresh as well. Long and short range weapons, always a good one. Plenty to collect, there bloomy well was. The bad. Controls being a little bit too floaty at times, and this for a game that asks you to jump on toadstools and if you don't you get damaged is not that great. Luckily enough it didn't happen all the time, but it kind of hurt my character a lot when it did. Sound missing felt very off-putting. And now for my all-important score, and I'm going to give this one a definite 3+ out of 5. A fun platformer with plenty to do and see, but hurts itself a little bit with a couple of problems with the controls and with the sound. But what it gets right does outweigh them bits, and I will say I will recommend this one. And with that, I once again ask you for your opinion. What do you think of it? Leave it down in the comments. That is where it belongs. And as for my alternative, I also hear you crying. Well, I'm going to go for, once again, Shovel Knight. Mainly because it's not just the same thing all the way through. It has its different quirks, abilities and all that lot as well. And I definitely think after Dungeon Munchie, if you haven't checked it out already, I think you should be checking it out. And that, as they say, is your lot, my good Switch heads. If you haven't already, hit that like button. It really helps the channel. And also, if you haven't subscribed yet, well, hit that subscription button as well. It's free and, you'll become part of the Switch heads family. And for that, we thank you. I thank you. And also head over to the community Discord, where you can become a part of our growing family there. Because life is better when we switch together.